Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's the Saturday edition of TVC Breakfast. We love to call it TVC Breakfast Saturday, where we bring you
all interesting,
the exciting news in the world of course, hardcore news will form a crucial chunk of the show. And then, of course, the fascinating world of entertainment and sports. And, of course, it's also, we don't say it, but it's also that show where we here get to let a bit of our hair down. And so it's a fun ride all the way. And today is bound to be even better. I'm Kemi Foladeyemo with Emmanuel Ajayi.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again. Back on the show on Saturday.
We missed. I missed you 2 weeks now.
Or 2 weeks now. 2 weeks
wow.
now. Well, you know, let me come in from that line that problem, they finish. Make you take time to enjoy.
Problem, they finish.
You will keep having challenges, but have that time to relax.
Absolutely.
Enjoy. So, and that's why we're here to serve Nigerians better with sports, entertainment, and issues in the country. So
absolutely. And
give you all the blow-to-blow accounts.
And it's instructive. It's instructive that, okay, a show like this holds on Saturday where we've got to hear the week, no doubt, always has, big stories, big events. Yeah. And this gives us an opportunity to also do some form of post-mortem of the big stories, the biggest stories of the week. And this is where you can count on us to give you an insightful, analysis and, of course, reactions of all the stories that made the week. And so we are beginning with one of the two major stories of the week, and that is the Central Bank of Nigeria raising its benchmark interest rate. It's known as the monetary policy rate. Well, the CBN raised the MPR to 22.75% for the first time in 8 months. The cash reserve requirement was also increased to 45%, and we have details in this report.
According to CBN data, this is the highest MPC rate ever and is aimed at mopping up excess naira liquidity. Olayemi Cardoso, governor of the CBN, will chair the Monetary Policy Committee meeting for the first time since he assumed office in September 2023. The governor of the central bank talked about a clampdown on crypto exchange, including Binance. He said over $26 billion has passed through Binance Nigeria in the last 4 years.
In the case of Binance, in the last 1 year alone, $26 billion has passed through Binance Nigeria from sources and users who we cannot adequately identify.
The governor says the CBN will ensure that the economy is highly liquid and money will only get to genuine players in the economy.
The committee decided to further tighten monetary policy as follows. 1, raise the MPR by 400 basis points to 22.75 from 18.75%. As the central bank is concerned, we are moving to a very aggressive regulatory environment. We are moving to a very aggressive regulatory environment where those policies have been coming out, as you can see, and tolerance for people not to abide by the regulations that are coming out and to comply is zero. People will have to abide by those regulations, and those that do not will face the consequences for not doing so.
Mr. Cardoso also revealed that $400 million was paid to settle some outstanding foreign exchange commitments.
About $400 million that have to those that have been so identified. And we are committed to continue to do so in one form or the other to those that are genuinely identified and proven cases.
Mr. Cardoso says for the CBN, collaborating with the EFCC is very important, and they are also determined to do everything in their power to stop manipulation in the market. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
And that's how we're more or less beginning the show today, looking at how much good this increment in the MPR as announced by the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank earlier in the week will be, especially on the fate of businesses, small scale, medium, and the likes, many of whom are struggling under the present economic realities, and increasing the interest rates to 22.5%, as well as from 18.75%, has got a lot of analysts talking about how much this would impact on them being able to access crucial funding at this time, and even it will also, according to them, hamper on the capacity of banks to support businesses.
A lot of analysts have been on the show, giving their own take on this particular development. Some spoke for and some are against. Yes. But the bottom line is that you heard there from the CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso saying that this is time for aggressive regulatory environment, and those who are not ready to obey the rules and regulations will pay dearly for it. And you saw what transpired yesterday concerning some Bureau de change that were, is it suspended? About 4,000 of them. That the CBN revokes operational licenses of BDCs, about 4,173 of them. Operational licenses were revoked. So these are great steps taken on the Naira policy in the country, the monetary policy in the country, from 18.75% to about 22. So now it's 22.75%. So some people have argued that we'll start seeing some non-performing loans in the banking sector. But all the CBN is doing, and what Nigerians are even expecting for the layman out there, is that we should have the dollar to Naira at much more appreciable rates. It's alarming at this time, having a dollar to Naira about 1,000. So over 1,000. So what Nigerians are even expecting is to let this thing come down, so that the prices of commodities at the market will definitely go down, so that we can have that power to go back to the market and purchase what you want to buy. At the end of the month, some people will tell you even their salary cannot even take them home. Some will tell you that even the salary cannot take them to the bus stop. So when you go to the market and what you are buying is even higher than what you get as your salary. So it's not encouraging. So, but all what the CBN is doing is the right move to ensure that everything becomes stable. A lot of analysts have argued that this issue of forex crisis is becoming a recurring decima in the country. We must nip this in bud. It can mean when you go to the bank and you want to trade with your Naira and get the dollar, don't be surprised that you see some banks will tell you that you need to patronize the BDCs. So these are issues. Until we get these things right, we'll keep having all this issue. And to the take of the federal government, just a moment, there's what we call the balance of trade. The federal government should be able to do what we call balance of trade in the aspect of, we as a nation, we need to become a producing nation, so that when we are also exporting those things that we have out there, it will make our own Naira also get value.
I take your points, and very well said on your part. But basically, just resonating what you've said, that's really what Nigerians are asking for. The fact that, okay, let me go to the market, the price I buy commodities, essential items, will not, skyrocket, only a day apart and all of that, because that is the reality of what people are seeing in the market. But then, yes, ordinary Nigerians need to, get by, need to eat, as in food is such a basic need. But then there is also the concern of businesses. How much so that our economy needs to also grow. Our economy will grow better if businesses are also, given if the climate to do businesses in the country is also encouraging. And, so that is where these experts, concerned experts are drawing their concerns from. Because if you need an urgent loan and then you have to talk about 22 points, you have to contend with that interest rate. And you raised the point about non-performing loans and all of that. So, these are concerns. And we hope that, yes, the CBN is coming out with policy after policy to better the system, but then, various considerations also need to be made. We need to consider our peculiarities as a country.
And for a country like Nigeria, where you have the inflation rate almost about 30%,
right.
Why the central bank is doing this is to ensure that to bring down the inflation rate in the country. So we hope that when all this is being put in place, the inflation rate will go down and things will get better in the country.
Absolutely. And if I could just quickly add, it's not just that, there are other areas, or that need to work, while the CBN is doing its thing, the federal government also needs, and the state government, and indeed all governments at all levels, need to also work together for the good of the system.